Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning. Happy PPI Day. How is everyone doing? Thank you, as always, for being here and spending the pre market with me. Good morning, Jacob. Hey, hey, what a wonderful morning. Hey, waka waka. Margin call for you, and for you, and for you. It's like orange whip, three orange whips. What's that from? Kept pitches are getting close. I think we're getting closer to. We could have a short-term bounce, and then I'm watching within the next week for that longer-term bottom coming in. But we could get a bounce and a quick little pullback, and then get that bottom coming in. Again, I'm watching for the momentum bars off the open. You know, we have to see this a lot of those margin calls going to go out. The price is getting a little whacked down. Things are getting very oversold, and it's tipping to where everybody's like, "When's this going to end?" Which is a pretty good sign. You got VIX going up today, so if we start seeing a reversal in that, we could be getting at least a short-term low. Good morning, Margin Call Thursday. I hope nobody here is getting margin calls. I hope everybody was prepared for this. I'm expecting a strong bounce today. I need to get some price action to confirm that, but it is definitely possible. Morning, Jake. Many will wonder where it came from. Very vicious rally. Remember, we are prepared for those rip your face off rallies because we follow price action. Well, bounce and sell off. Well, I'm watching a lot of times, unless we get a V-shaped reversal, but even with those, I still watch for those pullbacks to that key with those bottoming bars to that key 50 to 62.5, and then we watch for the reversal. So even if we get a V-shaped reversal bar, there is generally a slight pullback. Epic music. I can see Jay Powell in tears with the American flag in the background with burning buildings and Joe in the background pointing saying, "I did that." Bill Gates, Tesla short, making him look like a genius right now. He got his 720 target now, 700. Yeah, and the 700s, we talked about this. We'll get a bounce in Tesla too. Then we will get another rollover. I think Q2 for Tesla is going to just be brutally ugly. Morning, Ray. Thank you for being here. We're bouncing at trend lines, so possible bounce margin calls will be in when open, so it's possible a bigger drop here. We could still get a drop into the open. Buy Tesla. Any buy in Tesla would just be very, very short term. Would be very short term bounce. We'll look at Tesla. EM, just be careful. Tesla under 700 is a straight shot to 500s. Would you agree? I don't think it'll be a straight shot. Again, with markets this far tipped, Tesla major support. Yeah, we could get another push lower. Then it'll be at least a short-term bounce play. Remember, things don't go unless some crushing news comes out. But we will take a look at the chart. That's what's important, by the way. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. All right, we got that out of the way. I don't need to dwell on that anymore. PPI, headline number, 0.5, coming in as expected, but the devil's sort of in the details down here. Jobless claims a little higher than forecast. Initial this little lower, initial little higher. Core PPI coming in a slightly less. I mean, these still aren't good numbers, but core coming in slightly less. Year over year coming in 8.8 or 8.9. And just the PPI year over year, that coming in hotter at 11%. So these aren't great numbers, but they're not as bad as people were expecting besides this number. And we got daily speaking this afternoon. Other than that, not much going on. Just remember, tomorrow also we have the consumer sentiment preliminary, but that's about it for the market moving stuff. Still at that 50 basis point, 75 basis point, not getting any traction. And we are still in pretty deep negative gamma, which here's what I was trying to show yesterday on the market overview. Remember, for next week, we have market expiration, and here's your big line in the sand. Look at all the call gamma right up there. So could we easily, going into next Friday, be rallying back 4,000 and possibly above, or with a pin. Yes, easily. That's another thing I'm watching, why we could be getting close to a bottom to get back that relief rally, especially with all this gamma expiring next Friday. Ton of gamma next Friday, so do keep that in mind. There is nothing with earnings to this morning that's going to be market moving, so we don't really need to dwell on that. Let's take a look at the markets, though. This is still a potential double on the S&P. We start getting momentum going into the open, 39.25. And then we got 39.41, 39.50. Then those would be the first two targets. And this is pretty much right at the candle body tops. And then 39.58. But that's really what I'm focused on, these first two targets, the upside. Now, if we do get the significant selling going into the open, I'll be watching about 38.67, which would be absolutely brutal for a lot of people. You can see how far down we are. I mean, these harmonics that we're touching now, we're back from, that 40.56 level. So what else I got to update in case we did get an even more bigger push down? I guess we're going to have to go with this pausing bar right here. And look, that's 38.68 to about 38.62, then 38.39. So, but I'm really focused to see if it can get any momentum into the open or after a quick little plunge. Now, if we do get a plunge move, we do get a move, another push down. Remember, that double is going to be off the table without ever triggering. So you can't get much farther pushed down without this being off the table. All right. But just, there we go. And again, just a reminder, longer term, we are at cycle bottom, still waiting for them to turn up for that longer term bottom. So today would just be a potential shorter term bounce play. NASDAQ, there's this mini micro double just here, and I'm still doing this as the move down. I'm just using this because if we do get above about the high here, 11.840.25, then I will watch 1882. It's a little sloppy because this is a bigger dip in here, but it's all we potentially have right now to the upside. 11.903, 11.925 capping out here. And then I just watch for a return to the major breakdown area from yesterday. Overnight area. So that's all I have to the upside. To the downside, we're holding at this cluster. Now remember, right below where we are, remember right here, see this big, it's hard to see with this 50%, that's the 50% retracement level from the COVID lows to the highs in November. So this is a major support area should we get another push lower into the open. That's the key area I'm watching, about 11,700. So please be aware of that level because a lot of people will be following that from a technical standpoint, just because from a fib standpoint, from a harmonic standpoint, and just it's just a major area people will be keying off of. If we did fall below, let's see what we have. So we don't even get a lot of pausing bars in here. Let's see what we have. Oh. There we go. So if we break down, and even if we went below that 11.7, 11, then I'd be watching 11.658, but this would be a major bottoming area. So where else do we stand? The Dow, again, everything's coming off these clusters. I don't even, remember, I want to stress something. This was in the comments yesterday also. What happened to the potentials? Remember, potential reversal signals are just potential reversal signals. They don't have to happen. If they don't happen, I replied to the comment, and so did Josh. Thank you for replying to that, Josh. You point out things because they're potentials, but if they don't trigger, the bigger term trend is still in place. And in this case, if even these little mini doubles don't trigger, the overall pattern is still bearish until we get some confirmed reversal patterns. At this point, I'm just watching with the Dow really just for a break above here. If it holds, this is a key pattern. I'm just watching in here for some waning momentum reversal patterns. That's all I'm really keying off of with the Dow. We break down, then my next level is 31,258, then 31,000. On a bigger rally with the Dow, let me update these harmonics. I'd be watching for about 32,145, and then on an even bigger, and this just isn't for today, at then 32,433. Russell, I'll get to questions in a second. Russell, there's not much going on. I'm just trying to update some of these levels. Let's just take a bigger picture look at the Russell. Again, we're sitting at that 50% level from the COVID lows to the November highs. So this is a prime area for the bounce in the Russell. We break down, it's about 1682, 1652, but I'm really watching for that bounce play now in the Russell. DAX, again, bearish longer term, getting that rollover out of the rotation zone. I'm watching for a retest of the 62.5 level, 13,376. All right. Yeah, PPI was mad. Good morning, Mike. Q's hit 286.95. 50% from top to pandemic low this morning. Could go lower to 62.5 to 65.48 maybe sometime soon. Remember, on the Q's, I would be really shocked. Doesn't mean, all right, that double, again, never triggered. Remember, potentials don't have to trigger. We're 291.43 area. What you're talking about, let me pull this off. You are talking these major, the same thing we just looked at on the NASDAQ. Sorry, I had a window open. There's a little background noise. This could be, I mean, we're sitting right at this level. You got a harmonic right here and 287. Longer term, yes, I expect once we rally and get another push to 62.5, I think we'll be due for the rally before then. I would not be expecting a huge push back below there. On the next push area down, if you needed an interim target, I'd be doing about 281, 280.70 to about 281 area. But this is definitely getting into where we're getting to potential those capitulation lows. So I wouldn't be tipping too super bearish with a lot of plays down here. They would be just short-term, very short-term nimble plays. I'm watching again for us to get that short-term bottoming in, especially with that 50% level in that harmonic right there. Do we have any shorter-term play in here? Not really at this point, but you start breaking. We're going to gap down, so I'd be targeting, if we do rally, the gap fill play to yesterday's close, and you know how we play that with that gap harmonics. But that's, I'd be watching back for a return to 290.95 over, if it's not today, over the next couple days. Crude still in consolidation, not much going on. I'm not going to dwell on this right now unless we get above about 106.50. Then I'm going to watch for a return to the 109. We start breaking down below about 101. Then I'm returning to about 98. Gold and silver, again, starting to watch for a longer-term bottoming pattern over the next week coming in. Silver is just getting pummeled, but the physical silver market's holding up very well. That's why I'm holding off on any new ads, especially since we broke down below key support. Notes, looks like we're finally getting that bottom play in the notes. Above the 62.5, I'm now watching for a continued price action through the next, if it doesn't happen today, over the next few days, 120.05, and then a return to about 120.18 or 19, and then even on pullback plays, the potential longer-term rally, very oversold, cycles finally turning up. Got some divergence plays on the bottom, bullish engulfing bar. Again, bullish. The weekly bar is not closed yet, but it's still going to be a engulfing bar. So it's just where it closes. But we could see a multi-week potential rally back into the weekly rotation zone. So that would be interesting. Dollar index pushing higher, 104.47. Again, we have not triggered the topping pattern yet. I am still watching for it. It looks like it will probably happen some next week sometime, and that would be with a potential short to medium term euro US dollar low 104.98 next area watching. I think everyone's scared with China going back to normal. We'll shoot up commodities, and that will make inflation rage. Once China, once you see how well oil's held up, even with all the China lockdowns and everything, and all the reduced shipping and everything else. So we could see some renewed inflationary pressure once that eases. I completely agree, Waka Waka. Let's see if a reversal trigger, and we got to wait for the trigger. We got to wait for the triggers, but it is getting to that feeling like that capitulation lows, but we still have to wait for the triggers. Good morning, Remsfall. Good morning, Lauren. Did you hear about Tether? It lost its peg last night. Yes, I was following that last night, and now there's a bunch of funny business going on in the cryptoverse again, trying to keep the prop up after that spike down to 26,000. Bitcoin man ravel short term, causing NASDAQ to fall even further. And we have such a high correlation. Let me get to Tesla real quick. Again, trading down to that 700. Remember, we got that close below 62.5. Hit that below the 87. Now with that full round turn, if we do push lower, it's why I mapped this out. Below 700, 670 to 656 is a major support area where I'd be, if we don't bounce here with a gap play. Now we are going to watch gap down today, so I'm watching for that gap play. If we get the selling on the open, then I'm watching for a potential short-term bottom down here, which would just mean, why would that be short-term? Because now all this prior support is resistance, and everybody is underwater who were buying all these dips essentially since last August before the major ramp up. So you're going to see some increased selling pressure on rallies. It is getting overdone from the daily and the weekly rotation zones. So that's, again, would be my short term, this channel bottom and harmonics area for a short term bounce. Just to check in on crypto, back to 28, you see this little spike bottom, but all this is now resistance. Okay, all this is resistance. I mean, even on a rally back to 30,000 is just back to the breakdown zone. And I'm still expecting this, even on bounces now, to play dead and roll over. It'll be interesting to see where we close out the week, though. Remember, below about 23.8, we have the weekly 221.9. And then it's going to be interesting. This is the 62.5% level. And even if you don't follow crypto, this is the interesting thing, because we can watch for the statistic plays to see where it closes with this 62.5. So it's everything we follow you can learn from. Because you get a close below this on a weekly, then we really start targeting the lower prices more aggressively on bounces. I didn't go over to VIX yet. VIX up slightly. This is the past topping areas. Okay, so I'm watching to see if we roll over on the open. If it spikes higher, I'm going to be watching on about a 1 hour basis to see if we get closes back above 33.72. And then if we get a move above there, 35.21. If we can't, then again, VIX isn't confirming any downward pressure this morning, and we might be in for that short-term bottom rally play. Good morning, Paul. NASDAQ starting to tick up. Let's see. And yep, it could be the double is confirmed. Very sloppy at this point, but not yet triggered on a 15-minute basis, not yet triggered on a 5-minute basis. So these are the areas I'm watching with the momentum play, especially this 11.9 area. So turnaround Thursday. It could be turnaround Thursday. We shall see. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, Wavy. Maybe a rally to fill the gap above. This is looking like some bottoming price action. Now, if we start getting momentum bars to the downside, don't stand in front of it off the open. So let's just see how this plays out. Again, if you don't have a setup, if you don't have a trade, just because you think we could pop, you don't just randomly buy, wait for your setup to trigger, and then go with that and still manage your stops, because this is tactical trading market and things can still turn around in an instant. By the way, oh boy, Kathy. Arc. I just had to peek in on this. 34.56. Oh boy, she's making the round trip all the way. The round trip is pretty much done with close to being done from the COVID lows. So Kathy has round tripped it, by the way. If you are looking for anything in ARC, it would just be a very short-term bounce play, nothing long-term. With that, I am going to wrap it up. If anything major happens, I'll do a lunch session. If not, you'll see me after the close today. ARC on the crapper, which means we'll probably get the little bounce. NVIDIA killing me. Remember to stick with your stops. Remember, SMH still is longer-term bearish pattern. The only one I was watching from a bullish potential is AMD, which does not, the trigger is not even in yet, and this could turn into a not valid double before it even triggers. That's the only thing I'm watching from the semis from a potential bullish. Next key level for NVIDIA is 156.20. I will talk to everyone later.